massacre, away from public gaze. Perhaps the dead flesh still holds secrets.
Those whites are hypocrites, every last one of them.
The spirit of a dwarf raises his fists against an unseen foe. He silently curses at them and throws a punch. The spirit strikes out at thin air near the cell door. The spirit pivots, sensing another assailant. He draws a fist back again and suddenly freezes, his back arching in silent agony. He sinks to his knees, otherworldly silver blood blossoming from a wound between his shoulder blades.
Those whites are hypocrites, every last one of them.
The rat scurries nearer to the corpses and bares its fangs at you with a protective hiss. Her hands clasped together, the spirit of a woman mumbles silent prayers to herself. Unseen hands force her to her knees. Her lips move more rapidly. There's a faint sound next to you, like an echo, the metallic rasp of a sword being unsheathed. Your hand passes through the spirit, but with a little resistance. For a moment, you connect with her. The woman's spirit seems to sense it also. She looks up, oddly serene, and locks eyes with you. Her lips part to say something.
Am I dead? Are you a god?
An echoing swish heralds a blur of silver passing through the spirit's neck, back to front. Her head topples forward, followed by the rest of her a brief moment later. The spirit of a man cowers on the floor of the cell, his head tucked down. An unseen hand yanks his head up by the hair. His wide, panicked eyes find his tormentor. His lips part to plead, but before he can, a slash opens across his throat. Ghostly silver sprays forth, his eyes bulge. He clutches his hands around his neck and pitches forward to the ground, twitching. The spirit of an elven woman holds her palms upward. A hesitant, peacemaking gesture, she steps forward and suddenly jerks to a halt. One of her hands moves to her stomach. It comes away, coated in a silvery spectral blood. She looks right through you, to her murderer. Her expression drowns in confusion and shock. Her knees buckle. She drops to the floor, soundlessly.
Those whites are hypocrites, every last. Those whites are hypocrites, every last one of them.
Two white magisters are discussing the fate of three magic...
You? Ah, yes. I remember your face from Driftwood. Shouldn't have come here, you silly little sod.
Indeed. And your presence is most unwelcome. What you are is another body for the rats.
Hope they leave some for me.
The two magisters whistle up their source hounds and advance upon you, deadly intent darkening their expressions.
whites are hypocrites. Every last one of them. Those whites are every last one of them.
Useful as a good hammer is to a stone. The matter is, you lot have outlived your usefulness.
None. I'm ready.
Ugh, this flesh is well past ripe. Whatever.
You shut your eyes tight. Sheer terror courses through you, cut short by a length of razor-sharp steel passing through your neck. Your surroundings somersault around you. You find yourself lying on your side, gazing up at the curious sight of your own decapitated body, teetering off its knees to the floor. Everything grows dark. The spirit sways from foot to foot, as if dazed from a fist fight. He looks right through you, hollow eyes empty and endless, the fugiline colour of the void. The tiniest glimmer of light flickers in them, then dies out. Gazing into his eyes, you see the tiny spark of source flicker again. Catching it like a pearl, you see a reflection on its surface. The spirit as a younger man. You see him joining the Black Ring, zealous and proud. You see his commander, a shadowy, horrifying figure that seems to flit in and out of existence. You see the recruit's determined eyes, heading for battle with the Magisters. You see him captured by Dallas, chained and leashed. You see him deep in a cave, using source to break through a magical barrier, trying, failing, trying again, failing in exhaustion. The source pearl you gaze into grows dark and disappears. You are left with the endless blackness, blacker than black, of the spirit's depthless eyes.
The Aeterin. It spoke to me, called me to it, but I can't sense it anymore. Where is it? Oh, where could it be?
The spirit gazes around, clearly looking for something, but does not register your presence at all. The spirit grins as he sees you, a grin that contains madness, or something as close to it as makes no difference.
So, are you a servant to the king, here to bring me back? So, what are you waiting for? Bring me back? Come on! What are you, a novice? Bring me back!
Watch yourself. sorry.
I'm glad I still have people I can call family. But I know we can't stay here. The Magisters, they'll come back. They always do. So, farewell. Oh, and take this. You'll make better use of it than I ever could.
He responds with a weak shrug.
Away from here. Away from Driftwood, away from Arx. Away from all of this. I'd ask Hanag, but it seems she's deserted me. Deserted my family. I have no idea where she disappeared to. Maybe it's best, I don't know.
He turns wordlessly and takes his first steps towards a new life.
You're alive! Thanks for 7!
I'm glad to see you too. But
Gid, look at me! We can be strong again! We have to be.
Just stand still, sir. It doesn't have a seam. I can't. Just get it off! Cecil, Cecil, get it off! I can't, sir. I think it's getting tighter.
The purple-faced Magister claws at a strange organic breastplate. His comrade tries desperately to open it, but to no avail. It's bound by thin vines burrowing into flesh. You recognize it as part of the Scion Diana's spore armor.
Yes, exactly. Do you know what to do?
The breastplate writhes, tendrils pressed tight into flesh. The Magister's eyes roll wildly.
It's whispering. Make it stop. Make it stop.
The Magister recoils, pulling against you, but it works in your favor. The armor creaks, and he wrenches free, leaving scraps of skin behind. He gives you one wild-eyed, grateful nod, and keels over.
Right. Oh, thank the gods. Thank you. I warned him.
The Magister's chest is a mess, but you can see it gently rise and fall.
I'm glad you came when you did, even if it weren't in time for poor Ammon here. Divine rest him.
He bows his head at his fallen comrade, who died with a look of faint surprise on his face.
Gods, we'd best send word to Arx. They're bringing one of these right to Order headquarters. Strangest damn thing. Hammond was showing us this weird elven bauble he had, like a seed, right? And Herman wants to know what's inside, so he calls over one of our elven prisoners. Well, after some persuading, he starts jabbering in their speech. And the thing bloody bursts. Hammond and the elf get a face full of poison. That's the damn strangest part. The elf explodes, right? And these vines crawl out of him. I'm still trying not to lose me breakfast when Herman spots the breastplate and nabs it. Reckon I'd be losing my breakfast over him too, if you hadn't come along. Bloody hell.
Cecil's spirit tries to shake your shoulders, death failing to ease his panic in the least.
They've sent one of those spores to Arx, right to headquarters. You have to warn them.
Buying or selling?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
I've got to say, I think we're onto something interesting.
Together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it. Buying or selling?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
safe among friends. Never forget it.
Buying or selling?
Keeping it together, Reed. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Reed. I'm all right, as long as
Buying or selling?
you're safe among friends.
Hush! The ancestor speaks.
She places a hand on her armor, eyes shut, as if straining to hear.
Ah! It fades. It must be whole. Then the ancestor can speak freely. What? Give! That is a wise decision. I do not suffer thieves.
She places a hand on her armor, eyes shut, as if straining to hear.
Ah! It fades. It must be whole. Then the ancestor can speak freely. Only one. In the city they call Arx. It is said to be a hollow place. Stone and fire and filth. I go even so. No, not my plans. Its plans. The presence within. It shows me such things. A world where we are not prey, but hunters. A world where...
She grasps her head, as if trying to clear it.
You do not ask. It does not like your questions.
The elven warrior greets you with a scowl.
We are on Scion business, kin. Do not interfere.
Careful now. That's a trap. Ouch! Looks like we're really not welcome here. Careful now. That's a trap. Careful now. That's a trap. Look out! I see a trap nearby.
The first thing you notice is the figure's empty, eyeless sockets. The second thing is that your skin is crawling. The third is that your senses feel heightened. The fourth is that he is, or was, Black Ring. As your hand nears the ghost, your skin begins to itch. But more than that, your world expands, your vision narrows and fades, and your perception of the cavern is enhanced. Your nerves hum as if stretched taut, and you realize this is, or was, the ghost's reality. He was a guide. His job, to know the way. You see him, on pain of purging, guide Magisters into the cavern depths, there to continue their secret dig. You see him float above the traps, or vanish in one place and reappear in the next. And then, at last, you see him murdered in cold blood as the Magisters left the cave. Their work here finished, his services no longer required, his wages paid with his own soul, which he was allowed to keep. You feel his anger and his confusion and his raw and naked pain, and you hear the cavern echo with his cries. He turns to you at last, those eyeless sockets staring into you, and as your senses crawl beneath your skin, you realize you know the truth already. You can do as he did. You can find your way over and around the accursed surfaces, those deadly stains that rise from the gods know what, deep underground. You have the power. You have what it takes.
Divine Order? With Black Ring slaves? Lucian would be thrilled. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Careful now. That's a trap. That looks dangerous, but maybe I can disarm it. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Careful! I've spotted a trap.
Help me! Please. Help me!
Well, that solves that problem.
And also posts a new one.
this does.
If a device breaks in a cave and nobody is around to complain, did I really break it?
Stop! Danger! Don't go! Bad bird! Hanging from a branch with its wings spread wide and a terrible squawk! Don't go! Great big screeching bird! There it goes! It doesn't even hop down to see the buddies!
This looks similar to that other relic I found. I wonder if it has a similar effect.
The towering relic seems to hum with esoteric energy, faintly pulsating in time with the beat of your heart. You feel it drawing you closer, yearning for your touch, hungering for your source. As your palms press into the warm stone, you feel the depths of your being crack open. Your power flows from you into the relic, yet a reverse current flows back into you with a new power. A different power. The stone warms and warms until it is suddenly too hot to touch, forcing you to remove your hands and step back.
Eternal armor could be very useful. Very useful indeed. Boy, it is a shrieker!
Communing with the spirit, you see a bright open yard. You cluck and scratch the ground in front of you, disturbing a delicious ant. You peck at the dirt, waddling past two Magisters complaining about how difficult it is to catch a canary. But the spry insect skitters away, and the Magisters think they have problems. Your beak hammers into the earth over and over, but the ant manages to dodge each jab. You let out a squawk of frustration and resume the chase. You finally corner the ant by a boot, plucking him from the ground with a cluck of satisfaction. Swallowing your prize, you look up into the grinning faces of the Magisters. You feel hands reaching for you, grabbing you, and then there's only cold darkness. You step back, returning to your body in the cave. Carved from unfamiliar metal in an alien style, this mysterious object yet glows with a pulsating inner light that is familiar to you. The unmistakable brilliance of Source.
Whoa, what was that? Those Magisters are about to become popcorn. I could help them. What's this? I found something. I've never seen anything like this.
The stone relic pulls on your consciousness. You feel the tendrils of an ancient hunger trespassing within your soul, seeking something you have. Source. As your fingertips brush the cool stone, you feel the depths of your being crack open. Your power flows from you into the relic, yet a reverse current flows back into you with a new power, a different power. A sharp electrical shock repels your hands from the stone and sends you staggering backwards.
Mask of the Shapeshifter? That's something I want to craft, and fast.
Hurry, she said, so I hurried, and hurried some more. Tore me skin and muscles to shreds and got all but buried alive for the effort. No idea. But gods know, Dallas had us on a tight schedule. Faster, we're getting close. Easy for her to say. She might be called the Hammer, but I never saw her walloping away at the rocks. She used to be a smart cookie, but she's gotten careless since that new advisor's been twisting her ear. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's called the Aetheran. Supposedly sucks the source out of anything and anyone for good. All I ever found were glowing gems and baubles, though. We'd shower the lot, and every time she'd look at that swaying shadow of a man at her side, that Friedemann, and he'd shake his head like we'd brought them a pile of rubbish. If you ask me, he's a venomous cobra. The other Reds are taken in by his eloquence, but all I hear are silver-plated lies. Maybe. I honestly don't know. I'd bring her an armful of shimmering rocks, and she'd whisper to Mr. Creepycloak about eternal this and stuff that. I'll just wait here then.
Listen, I'm no canary, but I know bad news when I see it. They'll see. They'll wish they listened. Why don't you stick your beak out into that cave and see? No matter what I books say, you plucked idiots always do.
Folding his arms across his chest, the Magister stares at you with baleful eyes. One by one, he points at the dead Voidwoken, the dead Magisters, the dead Silent Watchers. Then, he points at you.
Your end comes, sorcerer, just as it came for them and for me. Friedemann guided the excavation rightly. Soon, Dallas will use the Aetheran on you. And then you will be the sorcerer no longer.
He says nothing, only twists his lip bitterly as he echoes, pointing at the dead. pointing at the dead, then pointing at you. The spirit's memory, in its madness, dances in your mind. You are a sensate, deaf and mute, but gifted with an unnatural ability. Dallis seeks you out and brings you here into the darkness. When the blindfold falls, Dallis bids you find and free a secret power. You close your eyes, and you feel the presence of a hidden truth. You point at it and open your eyes. You are pointing at Dallis. The hammer calmly bids you try again, then steps back into the shadows. You close your eyes once more. Now the vault before you sings to you. You raise your hand to it. It opens to your touch. From the vault, you take a sword. It's weightless, yet it feels extremely powerful. More powerful even than Dallis herself, and yet fragile. A hand falls upon your shoulder. A blade crosses your throat. Blood pours. Dallis whispers, "Good girl," and then all goes quickly dark. The pedestal seems empty, as if it once supported something powerful. You surmise that this was once the resting place of the Aetheran, until it was torn free and borne away. If this is what Dallis was looking for, then she has claimed her prize.
This must be where the Magisters found the Aetheran.
The tablet seems to glow from within with a subtle light. Etched runes cover its surface. The markings feel familiar, but you have no idea what they mean. Your fingertips burn so hot, it feels like they are melting. An energy seems to travel between the tablet and your hands, sparking knowledge directly into your mind, as if you're reading with your fingers. Electrical sensations sizzle in your mind. You understand that the runes are ancient Rivellonian, the oldest known language. You feel the fragments under your fingers. An Lesru. You know not how, but you understand the meaning of these words with the very marrow of your being. One must rise. Then your fingers grow cold to the bone. Suddenly, you are just a person standing in a cavern, clinging to a stone tablet, as if it were a life raft.
If that was some kind of test, I'm really not sure whether I passed or failed.
The unusual tablet is marked on all sides with runic inscriptions that look like they were hacked into indecipherability with a chisel or similar instrument. As your fingertips trace these mutilated runes, your eyes flicker closed of their own accord. You see nothingness, vast, dark, and empty. You sense something ancient watching you, perusing you like a prison guard would watch a wayward ant scuttling across the floor of a cell. From within the endless emptiness, a voice hums into being and calls to you. God-woken. You sense an interest within the cold voice addressing you. Beyond the interest, you sense fangs, voracious hunger, a bottomless appetite that no sustenance could ever sate. You see your life flash before your eyes, every memory flitting by like a moth's wings at a lantern. The vision reaches the present moment and diverges into multiple strands, impossible to keep track of. Your brain aches with the effort of trying to keep up with the intelligence as it sifts through your every potential future. You see salvation and destruction and every shade of existence in between. And all of a sudden, it's over. Blackness rises once more, just as it was at the start. Eternal darkness and you. An electric feeling pulses in your fingertips, and a force field of some kind pushes you away from the tablet.
Magisters. What are they up to?
Get a replacement here right away.
There you go. There's someone out there.
The spirit of a white magister scowls at your presence.
Get away from me, sorcerer! Filth! You'll get nothing out of me. Nothing.
The spirit shoots you a venomous look, unimpressed by your offer.
What? No, wait. I'll tell you. We had orders to bring down the wall. They thought there was more to find beyond it. That's all I know, I swear.
What is this thing? An engine?
From somewhere deep within the inner workings of the machine comes an irregular clanking sound, then a weak gurgle. Inoperable, it seems. The machine churns into life. Gears rotate and pistons hiss from somewhere within its metal housing. It settles into a slow metallic chug, ready for the next lever, perhaps. The machine churns into life. Gears rotate and pistons hiss from somewhere within its metal housing. It settles into a slow metallic chug, ready for the next lever, perhaps. The machine churns into life. Gears rotate and pistons hiss from somewhere within its metal housing. The machine rattles, grinds, and hisses for a protracted moment, building in intensity. There's a loud bang as a rivet flies across the cavern, followed by an intense hiss of steam. The contraption sparks and trembles, then dies.
Work.
From somewhere deep within the inner workings of the machine, it settles into a slow... There's a sudden shriek of grinding metal. Sparks and licks of flame belch forth. Then the contraption falls silent.
Guess I know what I need to do now. That's a lot of firepower to stockpile in one place.
Who could have crafted such wonders?
By the void! Imagine! Buried here, untouched for all this time.
The curious sculpture comes alive as you reach out to touch it. It thrums with power and throws flickering, dancing shadows against the walls. The carving is covered in strange glyphs that feel oddly familiar. They surround a gently glowing stone that makes you think of the night sky rolled into a ball. Trying to read the symbols, you hear a faint whispering at the back of your mind, as if you're listening to the echoes of a past age. Your mind swims, and for a moment, the glyphs become clear. You read, "Our first lords babes with power glowed, our seconds born in blood that flowed. Our thirds young to the wind return, our fourths to glowing flames adjourn. Our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed, our sixths had brawn beyond the rest. Our seventh's brood spread from earth to glen, and thus no king shall rise again." You try to hold your focus as the whispering echo fades, but the letters waver, contorting and merging until they're nothing but meaningless glyphs once more.
A riddle from the past. Or maybe a riddle about the past. What a way to die, down here in this darkness. Poor soul.
Rallic, I used to pray to you when I was young.
Duna, the stoutest of the seven. No wonder the dwarves pray to him. Ah, Ter Sendelius, worshipped by my people. Zol Stissa, the scaled god of the lizards. The god of the orcs, Vrogir. Huh, Zantetza, the goddess of mirth, worshipped by imps. It's Amadia, the mother of... Well, that wasn't right.
Rallic, I used to pray to you when I was young.
The sculpture is covered in something shifts within the sculpture, and you're knocked back by a sudden burst of energy. The glow from the columns surrounding the barrier fades, and the sculpture is covered. Trying to read your mind swims, and for you read, "Our first lord's babe that flowed, our thirds young to the wind return, our fourths to glowing flames adjourn." Our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed. Our sixths had brawn beyond the rest. Our seventh's brood spread from earth to glen, and thus no king shall rise again. You try to hold your focus.
It's Amadia, the mother of wizards. Ah, Tersendelius, worshipped by my people. Duna, the stoutest of the seven. No wonder the dwarves... Zol Stissa, the scaled god of the lizards. Zantetsa, the god of the orcs, Vrogir.
Ralek, I used to pray to you when I was young.
That's it! We're through!
What in the name of Lucian's prize pig is going on here? I wonder what they did in life to deserve such a resting place.
The creature looks down from its perch, trembling. It crawled out of that sarcophagus as if it had forgotten how to move its limbs. It turns to you, and you see its face is covered by an intricate mask. From behind its unmoving lips, you hear a noise. It starts as a groaning, croaking chatter, but slowly becomes more distinct. It's speaking.
May Saravel te de larontu, Shamory?
The stream of noise cuts off abruptly. After a moment, you hear a jolting, lurching voice.
It wears the face of Tersendelius, but speaks the tongue of beasts. How cruel. I suspected the Seven Lords won the war after they locked me here, but seeing their faces on dumb creatures, a depressing confirmation. What is this senseless braying? I speak of no beast king. I speak only of the king, the eternal king of creation, the king against whom the Seven Lords rebelled.
Deep within your soul, you feel your god stirring at the sound of the voice. You can feel its anger and fear swelling inside you. The creature leans forward to get a better look at you, clucking and tutting under her breath.
It seems to be a simple form at its core, a sauce vat. A walking, unfortunately talking, sauce vat. Fascinating. I wonder how to extract the sauce from the vessel without...
She pulls back suddenly, recoiling in horror.
It is rotting. Almost imperceptibly, but it decays before my eyes. How long before you show signs of wilting, I wonder?
The god within you reacts. His emotions a cocktail of fury and fear. You hear his voice, demanding that you give him control, demanding your body obey his will.
Aetera, you worm! An eternity locked away was too good for you. I should have seen you ground to dust and fed to the wind. Your heresies deserve nothing less.
The figure recoils, as if...
Sendelius! What happened to you? Did you truly fall so far?
Silence. It is your king that has fallen. He and all the other eternal cowards were flung into the void. And the power you were too scared to hunt has made me a god.
And yet here you stand, small, weak, decaying. I will not even need the Aetherin to grind you into the dust.
You feel your god freeze at the mention of this Aetherin, a cold terror settling in your chest.
Where is it?
Ah, of course you never found it. You always lacked imagination, my lord. I hid it in these very caves, although I can feel its distance now. Someone has uncovered it. Perhaps they intend to flay the godliness from you. No matter. Given your pathetic state, it is mine to collect at my leisure. As for that monstrosity you have made your shell, it was designed to die, and I think it is time that design were fulfilled. Do not worry. The source shall not be wasted. It will carry me from this tomb. It will bring me freedom at last.
The air suddenly feels thick, like it's grown musty after concealing a lie for so long.
Everyone's got a past. We are who we are in this moment. That includes the Mighty Seven.
I wonder what they did in life to deserve such a resting place. Look out! I see a trap nearby.
Paladin Hardwin's whistle-like device sits nestled in your hand. Wings flutter. A war owl swoops. It plucks the letter from your hand and flies away.
We remain vulnerable while at anchor. Better to make for the open ocean at first convenience, don't you think? Have you made any progress with my request, dear? Have you found that tablet? Excellent. Why, I knew I could rely on you. That is all for now, darling. My thanks. Here, a little token for all your efforts so far. Now, I'd better study this tablet for a while. I'm sure it could teach even me a thing or two.
Buying or selling?
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit you, ton, Who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Wars are brewing, my friend.
Keeping it together.
Buying or selling?
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Keeping it together, Reed. I'm all right. You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Keep distant. My own demons haunt me too closely. I cannot also bear the burden of yours.